Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture from the National WWII Museum in New Orleans. Now, the reason why we're in New Orleans is because we were here with about 1,600 other farmers and ranchers who were enjoying the 104th annual convention of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. Many of them, I'm sure, made their way here to the World War II Museum, which is where you will find amazing exhibits that show that history. And the tie to New Orleans, by the way, comes in the form of the Landing Craft Vehicle Personnel, and that was the boat designed by Andrew Higgins and built by Higgins Industries. Behind me, you see a C-47, which actually flew on D-Day. Now, moving on to the news of the week. This past week was a tough time for many across the state after endless heavy rains drowned crops, stranded livestock, and destroyed homes. An already rainy month was met with Tropical Storm Arthur, which dumped nearly 30 inches of rain in some parts of central Louisiana. TWILA's Josh Meeks traveled to one farm in Avoyelles Parish where two men say they've seen far too many once-in-a-lifetime floods.
This used to be John and Tommy Laborde's field of soybeans. After Tropical Storm Arthur came through, not a single plant was above water.
I had a late crop because of the rain already earlier this spring, but I had a full crop in the potential in the field, and now out of 1,500 acres, 150, 200 might be salvageable.
John Laborde's side-by-side takes on water as he rides through his pastures. Just a day before, he says the water would have been over the roof.
It's still shock. We've had big rain events that they've said were 100-year or 1,000-year events. Seems like this is the third 1,000-year event I've seen in the last 11 years. I lived in Baton Rouge in 2016 and saw that one. Drove a boat down Airline Highway helping people that day.
John and his dad Tommy have been farming here in Mansura all their lives. Tommy says this is the worst flooding he's ever seen. Together, they had to hop on boats to rescue their stranded cattle.
Got in there with a tractor with a couple bales of hay, blew the horn, hollered at them, everything. They'd start coming and they'd stop. They would get confused. So we went to plan B, rounded up 4 boats.
What you all experienced was one of those what we hope is one of those once-in-a-lifetime events. The amount of rainfall was simply historic.
Governor Jeff Landry declared a state of emergency for Avoyelles, Lafourche, Point Capiz, St. Landry, St. Tammany, and Terrebonne parishes. That means disaster payments for lost crops, but John Laborde says that with high input costs, those payments won't go very far.
We'll see what crop insurance does. That never makes you whole. It just lets you, fight another day. Hopefully you get most of your costs back.
And even then, this is a heavy El Nino year, which means more wet weather for the rest of the summer.
In all likelihood, we'll never see something like this again, knock on wood. I mean, this was a 1,000-year flood.
Reporting from convention for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks.
Go ahead, y'all go. Make it to the high bank.
Many in Avoyelles Parish had to scramble to save their animals. Check out this video from Cody Coco in Plocheville. When water started rising, he had to move fast to get his pigs to higher ground. Coco says he was able to save most of his animals. Not everyone was as fortunate during this month's flood. At the Louisiana Farm Bureau 104th Annual Convention in New Orleans, President Richard Fontenot acknowledged the significant losses as a result of the heavy floods.
My heart goes out to our friends in Avoyelles Parish. They had a catastrophic event. We have tens of thousands of acres that are going to be impacted with this historical event of 30-plus inches of rainfall, some still falling, and unfortunately that water has to go somewhere. So we have some neighbors to the south that have some concerns. We have a disaster declaration in place with the governor. We're approaching the Secretary of Ag for additional declarations as we speak. So doing that in conjunction with not having our Avoyelles family here with us at convention was definitely heartwarming. But at the end of the day, disasters do happen. Agriculture never stops. The farmers never sleep, and we always have something going on.
At this year's convention, President Fontenot celebrated a record attendance of roughly 1,600 attendees.
The energy, the excitement, the topics, the relevance, all through convention was just really, really satisfying to see everyone engage and participate in it. We had a lot of challenges this year. It's not the most promising times for certain sectors of our agriculture industries, but we had a time to celebrate agriculture this week, and everyone was able to come in you know, from 2 years old to 80 years old. It didn't matter. We had something for everyone, and everyone had the opportunity to participate, and really excited with the participation and the energy and all the different great things we're able to accomplish here.
Another challenging topic discussed this year was New World Screwworm, the invasive parasitic fly that attacks livestock and in some cases people. TWILA's Carl Wiggers spoke to some Louisiana ranchers about their concerns that this parasite has been discovered in the U.S.
This is a New World Screwworm larva. You see where it gets its name. Adult flies lay eggs in open wounds of warm-blooded mammals, and then the larvae feed on living tissue. That's the main difference between them and other flies, which only feed on dead tissue. In early June, cases were detected in the U.S. for the first time since their eradication in the 1960s.
But right now, it's continuing to expand, so we have to increase the amount of sterile flies that we're doing. We have to, really look at treating the herds. But one of my big concerns is what's happening in the wildlife, which could become a source.
Louisiana Ag and Forestry Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain says the state is working with the sterile fly production facilities in Texas and Panama to combat the spread.
Well, we're doing everything we can to stop the reintroduction into Louisiana and to contain it where it is in Texas and push it back down below. It is not of a public health significance. It is not a disease that will affect the quality of beef. It's not something that's contagious from animal to humans.
Louisiana beef producers like Mitch Marsalis are concerned that recent severe weather could carry the flies across the Sabine River.
All of our insects catch rides in the hurricane, and they hitchhike on the winds with the hurricane, and they come in. We've seen it numerous times, over the years.
According to the USDA, the country's cattle herd is near a record low. Marsalis says that could actually help prevent cattle producers from panic selling.
People are selling cattle just because they're high, but they don't want to panic sell and then have to rebuy that herd later on down the road with these prices the way they are.
In the event of an outbreak, Dr. Strain says the state is prepared.
We're going to be inspecting anything that comes in from those infected zones, and they have to get permits before they leave. Any livestock shows.
Reporting from the Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention, I'm Carl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
If you think you found a larvae or think an animal may be infected, Commissioner Strain says you should call a veterinarian immediately. Keep any larvae you may find in a sealed container. Don't throw it away or leave it somewhere where it can spread. Convention is a time to talk about innovations as well. In this year's livestock conference, farmers and ranchers heard about an energy company that's trying to build solar arrays that are compatible with agriculture. Silicon Ranch is a solar solutions company with a goal of being good stewards of the land. Unlike other solar companies, they own the land they operate on and then allow farmers to access it for grazing. Their solar panels provide room for animals like sheep and cattle to have shade as well.
So the folks who have looked to demonstrate this in the past, the solution has been, let's get those things so high that there's no way the cattle could come in contact with them. And sometimes that's 10, 12 feet off the ground. At utility scale, that additional steel and the cost associated with it just isn't viable. So we were really looking for something that could be replicated at scale. So it's a modest increase in steel. I think on our pilot project, it was a 3 to 4% increase in the CapEx. And then the software integration allows us to tell the facility where the cattle are on any given day and limit the path of the panels as they track the sun so that leading edge of the panel won't ever come in contact with a grazing animal.
If you're interested in more information about Silicon Ranch's solar panels, check out our website at twilatv.org. New Orleans is a city known for its restaurants. The secret is bringing home cooking to you. TWILA's Neil Melanson takes us to the 7th Ward, where one family has been feeding their community for more than a century.
It's a common expression that you don't want to see the sausage get made, but Vance Vaucresson is all too happy to show it. He and his family have been at it for more than 125 years right here in the heart of New Orleans.
With second generations, they have a larger idea of what they want to do. So my dad did many other things more than just the meat market. And then I came about after my dad passed in '98 and took over his sausage company.
Julie Vaucresson works right along her husband at Vaucresson's Creole Cafe. She even has a cookbook out. Julie says it's important to keep the family tradition alive, but even more important to serve the greater community.
We have our regulars that come. We know them by name. this is an extension of our home. So it's like we're inviting you into our kitchen and our dining room table. And I think they feel that love when they come in.
Of course, the main ingredient in every dish here is agriculture, and again, community ties are a big part of that. Vance says it's important to get farm fresh products from families they've had relationships with for decades.
They're generational companies that have, when you know their story and their history, are committed to providing whatever it is that they have. So whether it's the shrimp purveyors like the Piazzas, whether it's the oyster purveyors, whether it is the vegetable purveyors. Because the interesting thing is you can get local produce like Creole tomatoes, but those that know about Creole tomatoes and know some of the imported tomatoes, you know the difference in taste.
The best cooking in Louisiana is done at home, and that's where both Vaucressons learned. Julie says, like most Creole households, making food with love was the first step.
Most of the recipes in there are my mom's. She's 87, she'll be 88 next month, and she cooked from no recipes. So for me to get that recipe and document it, and it was another reason why I did the book, because recipes die out if you don't document them. And she's the only one that does the crawfish bisque because it takes so much time.
Today for lunch, I ordered the seafood gumbo and one of their famous po' boys to go. And as you can see from the gumbo, it's rich in all of the specialties, from the crab to the roux to the sausage that they're known for. And you too can enjoy some of this great food at this institution that's been around for more than a century. Reporting from the 7th Ward in New Orleans, I'm Neil Melanson.
For a taste of that gumbo and other Creole recipes, they all look delicious. We'll link you over on our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, there's more to Ponchatoula than strawberries. We'll take you to a quaint agritourism location worthy of a day trip out of New Orleans. Plus, we recognize the best of the best within Farm Bureau as awards are handed out and a new queen is crowned. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Thank you for staying with us as we continue our special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture from the National World War II Museum. Sometimes an exclamation becomes inspiration. That was the case for a registered nurse who never had a plan to get into agritourism, but sometimes your plan isn't the one that matters.
If you need a little grace, you can find it at Mercy Farm in Ponchatoula. Except Grace is a dog.
She is a mama's dog.
And follows her mama over all 45 acres just off the banks of the Tangipahoa River. Grace's mama is Stella Gilbert, the owner of Mercy Farm, a retired registered nurse who planned to stay retired, but maybe buy a horse or two for her 5 grandchildren. But that wouldn't do. They needed goats too. And if you have goats, well, you've got to milk them. What do you do with all the milk? So Gilbert's granddaughter, Morgan, makes it into goat milk soap. And if you have goat milk soap, then you have to have somewhere to sell it. So Gilbert opened a trading post. And then she started baking sourdough bread. So she sells that too. Are you starting to get the idea?
Yeah, because I really hadn't planned on that, but God has a different plan. And when God has a plan, you follow that plan. So he was like, you need to open this. So we did, and that's how the farm grew into what it is.
Now Mercy Farm hosts school field trips, and the kids are always walking, looking for some attention. Well, at least this kid. Isn't he cute? Oh, and these kinds of kids come to visit the goat kids and all the other animals at Mercy Farm. As for the name Mercy Farm, that came straight from Gilbert.
When something's happening good or something's happening bad, I can say, oh, Lord, have mercy. Or I can say, Lord, have mercy. Or I can say, Lord, have mercy. I can go all directions. And so I say that all the time. And so I named it Mercy Farm because I say, Lord, have mercy all the time.
You might say something similar if you choose to spend the night at Mercy Farm, because this could be your accommodations. A teepee in the woods, complete with a king-size bed and air conditioning. If it seems like there's always something new at Mercy Farm, there is. But even Gilbert is not sure what that's going to be.
Who knows what God has in store for me? I make 70 this year, and it's a big milestone for me. It's made me really look at the younger generation. And I would love to see my granddaughter, who's at LSU in business, ag, and I hope that that can happen for her. If it's her dream. If it's not, then who knows? Somebody else can take over this dream.
I just had an absolutely great time there at Mercy Farm. Mercy Farm also has an event space for parties and weddings. To find out more or rent a night or two in the teepee, visit our website at twilatv.org. At every convention, Louisiana Farm Bureau recognizes the hard work done by farmers, ranchers, and innovators in agriculture. There were crowns, plaques, and giant checks, all awarded to those who go above and beyond for their industry. The highest honor given by the Farm Bureau is the President's Award, recognizing the collaborative effort of an entire parish in agricultural activities. Vermilion Parish received the President's Award for an unprecedented 7th time in a row. Brian Simon is the parish president and says the hardships facing farmers are tougher than ever, which means now is the time to rely on one another.
Our members are so resilient. They survive bad weather, bad storms, high prices, and they just put their whole heart into it, and they just keep rising to the occasion. They're all in. They're farmers to the bone, and they just do a great job at it.
The Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award recognizes the state's top young farmer under 35 years old. This year, Laura Hebert, a rice, crawfish, and sugarcane farmer from Vermilion Parish, won the top prize. She says it's so hard to believe that she's won the same award that's gone to so many people she's admired.
So I've been coming to Farm Bureau Convention ever since I can remember. It was kind of like a vacation for us. So watching, the winners in the past years win, I don't think it was something I thought I would be up here winning. And up until now, it feels like, it's kind of surreal. So just being able to bring the Hebert name to the Achievement Award feels pretty monumental.
Hebert receives a $35,000 cash award courtesy of the Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company. She also receives an all-expense-paid trip to the 2027 American Farm Bureau Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, where she'll compete for the National AFBF Achievement Award. Other young farmers and ranchers were recognized during the awards program on the Thursday night of convention. Lafourche Parish ag teacher Emily Stiegel won the 2026 Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award. The award recognizes leadership and involvement in Farm Bureau. Stiegel teaches at 6th Ward Middle School in Thibodaux and regularly organizes farm and agribusiness field trips for her students. Macy Rushing of Feliciana Farm Bureau was named the Outstanding Young Farm Woman for 2026. She received a $2,000 cash award compliments of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance Company, along with other cash prizes. Rushing also received this year's inaugural Farm Bureau Blogger/Influencer Award. Tyler Barlow of Rapides Parish won this year's discussion meet. The Louisiana 4-H alumnus received a host of prizes for his victory, including a John Deere 4x2 Gator utility vehicle, courtesy of the Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company. A trip to compete at the 2027 American Farm Bureau Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as other cash prizes. Anna Hebert of Assumption Parish took home the top prize in the Talk Meet competition. She earned top honors for her compelling speech that addressed the question, how can farmers and ranchers balance environmental stewardship with financial success on their farms? Hebert received $200 cash for winning. That's 10-year-old Emerson Douillon performing Where is the Love from the musical Oliver. Her rendition earned her the top spot in the Junior Talent Contest this year. Douillon will start 6th grade next year. And 14-year-old Slade Thibodaux of Assumption Parish won the Senior Talent Division with that instrumental version of Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. It was also his first time ever entering a competition. The culmination of the Farm Bureau Convention is the crowning of a new Louisiana Farm Bureau Queen. Jean Trace of Tangipahoa Parish was crowned as the 2026 Louisiana Farm Bureau Queen. She'll travel the state and to Washington, D.C., representing the state's largest general farm organization. First runner-up was Avery Thibodaux of Jeff Davis Parish. Second runner-up and Miss Congeniality was Isabella Johnson of St. Martin Parish. Congratulations to all of this year's winners at convention. You can find links to videos, including live streams of these events, on our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, a taste of the East at convention as Louisiana Rice creates a delicious Japanese potent potable. Stay with us. This year's Sunday at convention fell on Father's Day. The dads were working hard and in some cases taking care of their children at the same time. Farm Bureau salutes all of the good, hard-working dads out there. Thank you for all you do. In South Louisiana, rice is a food dish staple, but you don't often find it in your drink. At this year's rice commodity meeting at the Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention, everyone got to sip on one of our favorite grains.
I've been on the farm there for 31 years. The farm has been there since 1946. We've been farming rice there since the late 40s, early 50s. I came along, we met in the 90s and were married in 1996. I started on the farm in 1995, and that's how long I've been there. We grow continuous rice. We've got one field that's been in rice for, this will be the 68th year consecutively that it's been planted in rice.
And I'm 48 years old and I've been there my entire life. Okay, so my dad started growing a variety of rice called Koshi Hikari in the late 80s, early 90s. They said that it couldn't be done outside of Japan. And so my dad said, why not? So we figured out that the latitude of our farm and the latitude of the farms that rice was being grown on in Japan was exactly the same. So we acquired the seed and started to grow that, and that kind of launched us into the Japanese world of rice varieties, and from that we kind of grew into the sake varieties that we have today.
It was really a happy accident
yeah.
Somewhat. You know, we weren't really planning to get into the sake business. We were approached because we had the variety. The rumor got out that we had it, and so we started to grow it, and it's grown from there.
I like to say that my granddaddy was innovative with the land. My dad was innovative with what we put into the land, and this generation, my generation, has been innovative with what we do with what comes off of that land. And so Granddaddy made the zero grade. My dad decided to bring Japanese varieties to Arkansas, and we're taking those Japanese varieties and making good drinks out of them around the world. We're even actually branching into some beer as well, so that's been fun.
It can be done with anything, but the quality wouldn't be the same. The short, medium grains lend themselves to being able to be polished. Table rice in the industry, the mill rate would be called 90%. They don't really start making sake until it's milled to a 70% and lower. So 70% remains and 30% has been milled away. You can take that all the way down to the really high premium sakes are milled to 11%, which is, you know, a very unusual thing to do, but all the way down to 30%. That rice can handle that milling. Long grain would break away in the milling process, so it wouldn't really hold up. You could make a sake, you probably wouldn't like it.
So, but when we started in this whole business, there's a different polishing method for this, and so the mill that we needed to have, we didn't, and so we've now vertically integrated and brought the mill down from a friend of ours that we bought from Minnesota, and then we've added another mill, so we have our own. We call it Cypress Creek Milling, and we have it about 15 minutes from our house, so we're able to control the product from beginning to end, field to glass, we like to say. Yeah. And we like to say drink rice, you know?
Exactly.
That does it for this special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture from the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. Here at this exhibit, you see an agrarian scene behind me. That was the scene many of our young men and women left in order to go and fight for our freedom overseas during World War II. This place is something special, and you should come and see it whenever you're in New Orleans. It takes about a full day, a full 8 hours to go through all 7 buildings, but well worth every minute. We'll have next week off for the 4th of July, remembering the reason why we are free. We hope to see you again the week after that right here on This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.